Hey guys, welcome to today's video, and today I'm going to be going over the exact strategies and tactics that have worked for me along with research that I've found when it comes to pitching. Whether you're pitching to investors or pitching to customers, I've done both, and let me tell you, having these factors written down and things to reference have really helped me out as I've grown my businesses over the years. Now, in the world of entrepreneurship, the power and the skill of pitching is actually probably one of the most critical skills that you can acquire. It is absolutely critical for securing funding, closing deals, or even just establishing long-term relationships with people in your network. And in this video, I will be giving you the expert tips and advice to craft a compelling pitch that will engage the audience that you're pitching to and set you on a path to success. Let's dive in. Now, before I dive into the actual tactical things to do for a great pitch, let's just discuss the importance of why a pitch needs to be great. I truly believe that first impressions are everything, and when it comes to pitching, that is your first impression when you're pitching to a customer or to an investor. Now, a pitch not only needs to give off a good first impression, but it needs to demonstrate your value and really show that you have commitment and passion around what you're pitching. Once you dial in this perfect pitch, this is going to be your key to unlocking scale and growth, as it can win over customers, business partners, and even investors as you go down your business journey. Now, let's break down exactly what a pitch needs to entail to be considered a successful pitch. Now, you're going to have three very important things in your pitch, and that is going to be the problem, the solution, and then the market opportunity for the solution to that problem. Now, let's break down those three things in a little bit more detail. Let's start with the problem. If you do not start your pitch out by clearly defining the problem that you're looking to solve, investors are not really going to have an understanding of why your product even exists today. When identifying this problem, you really need to hone in on the pain points that it causes the potential customer when this problem is occurring. Problems and pain lead people to look for better solutions and better ways of doing things, therefore needing your product in the long run. The next part of your pitch should be the solution. This is where you really need to show how your solution is going to remove those pain points and be a better way of doing something than the existing options. You need to make it very clear that your solution is the obvious choice for people experiencing the problem that you referenced earlier in your pitch, and how it is a different solution than what's currently out there. And finally, once they know what the problem is and what your solution is and why it's the best solution, you want to identify how big the market is actually going to be. This is where you want to showcase the size of the amount of people that are experiencing the problem that you referenced earlier. Investors especially will not be investing in any business that they see will not have enough customers to sustain growth over time. This is where you can really use the size of the market or the sales that you've already gotten with a small amount of marketing to really hype up the product and hype up the customer base and show a very, very promising future for the business that you're starting or running. Now we know the exact parts of what a pitch needs to include. Let's talk about how to give those pieces in a very compelling way. And one of the best ways that I have found, along with others that I've seen during my research across the internet, is telling this in a way of a very compelling story. If you've ever watched Shark Tank, for instance, when the entrepreneur really has a very moving story behind them, the investors on the Shark Tank are more willing to listen to them and give them more sympathetic advice, if not actually invest in their product or business. This can be true for customers. If you ever see weight loss products and there's this big crazy story about how I, as a trainer, helped Sally lose 200 pounds over the past 6 months, you want to listen to that story. You want to hear that good story, and therefore sometimes it will lead that customer closer to a purchase. Now, your story really needs to weave together the problem, the solution, and the market size to actually be very effective. We as humans have an inclination to really hone in on stories. If it was just facts and figures, it's not as exciting. Whether it's YouTube videos, whether it's content, whether it's blogs, everything that has a story gets more engagement, is read and watched more. And I mean, it's very, very obvious. We just don't realize it a lot of times. If you go to the YouTube homepage, a lot of the top videos in there, whether they're informational or not, do incorporate some kind of story. And that's really where you get to hold people's attention and get them through all the way to the end. Starting a story opens what we call an open loop in our brain. Our brains are constantly wanting to close the stories, and that goes into all parts of our lives. If we know the first half of a story, chances are we really want to know that last half of the story. So this is a great way for us to get somebody engaged in the beginning, get them hooked in the middle, and get them really wanting to hear the rest of the pitch, because our minds just don't like those open loops and those open endings. If you ever watched a movie and it doesn't have a very clear ending, you feel a little bummed. And this can be taken straight into your pitch and get you a very, very effective listening and engagement rate from whoever you're pitching to, whether it's a customer or it is an investor. So here are a few quick tips on crafting a very engaging story to get your point across during your pitch. The first one is make it personal. Share your own experiences. A lot of times business owners start their businesses because they were experiencing a certain pain point themselves that they wanted to solve. This helps humanize your pitch, build an emotional connection with your audience, and show your compassion and dedication towards your business. The second tip is use analogies and examples. Using real-world examples and analogies can really help simplify complex concepts and make your pitch not only more memorable and relatable, but help people understand it at a deeper level. Tip number 3 is keep it concise. Aim for clarity and simplicity here. Avoid any industry jargon and make sure that your pitch is really easy to understand. If I were to pitch an SEO service, for instance, I'm not going to go into backlinks and toxic backlinks and domain authority and long tail keywords and this and that and the other thing. I'm just going to keep it as simple as possible and talk in terms that the general audience I know is always going to be understanding of. All right, so now that we know exactly what our pitch needs, as well as the storyline that we're going to be telling it in, let's get into how best to deliver this to your audience, whether it's a customer or an investor. You really want to be delivering your pitch with confidence 10 out of 10 times. If you do not feel confident in your pitch, your audience is really going to be able to sense that. So here are a few little tips that will help you build your confidence up when going through your pitch. All right, so the first one is going to be practice, practice, practice. And I cannot emphasize this enough. A lot of people do not role play their pitches and they do not record either their sales calls or their video calls. And it's very, very, very important that you guys watch back what you guys sound like when you pitch, because just the changing of tonality in a certain area where you're like, wow, I didn't sound confident there, can really be a game changer. As well as you can watch how people feed off the energy that you're giving them during your pitch or your presentation. And role playing can be a great key here. If you guys know somebody that's just very, very good at pitching or very good at sales, role playing with them, you can feed off their energy. And the more you rehearse it, the more that it's just cataloged in your brain, and you can pull it out of your brain at any time and reference it and know exactly where to pick up on a script if you were taken off track by a question or by somebody just not paying attention to what you're saying. The next one, and this is an obvious one, is just maintaining eye contact. Maintaining eye contact will not only build trust to the people that you're pitching to, but it will also really show the confidence that you have in what you're pitching about and keep your audience engaged. Number 3 is going to be your body language. Your body language is going to say a lot about how you feel about your pitch, how you feel about your product, and how confident you are that what you're saying is actually going to be true. By standing tall, using open gestures, and speaking with enthusiasm, you're really going to convey that you know what you're talking about and that the person, whether it's a customer or investor, should go along on this ride with you and come because you're an expert at what you're talking about. And the last tip, and probably one of the most important, is to prepare for questions and objections, especially when you're talking to customers or investors. They're going to have the typical objections that they're going to come back with, and chances are that they're going to be just a few questions phrased in a lot of different ways. So if you can really write down, think about, and analyze exactly how to approach these questions, whether they're saying, oh, now is just not a good time to invest, now is not a good time to buy, I don't have the money, I have a deal closing, I have a lot on my plate, whatever it is, just know that these are all just a few questions phrased in different ways. And if you watch back your speeches, if you watch back your pitches, if you watch back your sales calls, you're going to see these questions coming up over and over and over again. write them down and write down a very, very thought out response on how you would overcome that question or objection in the future. This is gonna help you guys stay in control of your pitch and answer the question, answer the objection, and get them back on track to what your pitch really needs to entail. Now, mastering the art of pitching is a skill that every entrepreneur should really, really focus on and become an absolute master at. Because with a compelling pitch, you can win over investors, win over customers, and even attract business partners that are gonna help you succeed in your entrepreneurial journey. Remember to always focus on three things: the problem, the solution, and the market opportunity, and tell it in a very compelling story along with confidence when you're delivering that story. Now it's time for you guys to go out, make your next pitch, and put this stuff into action. I hope that it really helps you guys move a little bit forward in your business. That's my goal with these videos. If you like this video or you want to see more stuff or even hear about my experiences with pitching, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.